Welcome to the Journal of Biophilic Design podcast. Welcome to the Journal of Biophilic Design podcast today. I'm really excited to be joined by Marco Gastaldi. He's Associate Interior Designer at Gensler. He's going to be speaking at the Workspace Design Show held at the Business Design Centre in London on the 27th and 28th of February. Marco is also the designer of this fantastic space that they've designed for the talks area. It has a strong biophilic element, and we're going to be talking about that as well and the rationale behind it. But Marco is an interior designer, and he has experience of working with some of the leading architecture firms, as well as brands like Lego, L'Oreal, and Audi. So, Marco, many thanks for joining us, first of all.
Thank you, Vanessa. It's great to be here, and thank you everyone for listening in.
Wonderful, thank you. Maybe you could start by kind of telling us, what got you into architecture, a little bit about your journey, please.
Yes, so from my early years, actually, interior design and architecture and also art has been some of my passions, and I then decided to cultivate it as a career. So I pursued my education in interior design in both China and Italy. And it was actually very interesting because the way that similar subjects are taught and explored in different places is also very different and really mind-opening. I then started my professional journey in Beijing, and I joined a large international company that is actually specializing in architecture, and it's called Med Architects. It was very interesting because their design philosophy was centering around the concept of Shanshui City, and it was really aiming to establish an equilibrium between humanity, the environment, and also nature. In 2020, then I moved to London and I became part of the Gensler team. And I now specialize in workplace interior design. I collaborate with various clients on projects of different scales and obviously contributing to the design and the realization of new and innovative work environments.
Fantastic. Obviously, you're training in China, and it's all about sort of sustainability and nature kind of connections to the built environment. For you personally, why is biophilic design really important?
So to answer this question, I think it's very important to keep in mind that people's innate attraction to nature is something that is really primordial, is really an instinct. So we evolved in a state of adaptive response to the natural world. There's a lot of research that actually suggests that nature is good for people. It has the ability to produce those hormones that support the feeling of belonging and collaboration. The relationship between the humans and their environment is a crucial factor in how they therefore perform and also connect with others on a daily basis or in the work environment. So biophilic design is important, it's fundamental because it celebrates the people as a biological organism, and it acknowledges the mind-body system as indications of health and also well-being. So unfortunately, up to today, a lot of our contemporary design is a bit oblivious of this knowledge that should instead be intrinsic. Deep down, we are aware that our bond with nature is vital. So it's actually interesting because when you ask people about their favorite place for vacation, most of us, they will describe a place that is outdoor. And then we often use this word recreation, and we really forget the recreation is about recreating and also restoring ourselves. So again, I work especially in workplace design, and bringing this knowledge into the built environment is critical. And considering that we spend 90% of our time indoors, and a person on an average spends 20 to 30% of their lifespan at work.
Yeah, it's and when you think about it that way, it really you do wonder why we're not all designing with biophilia and nature-based emissions reviews, isn't it? You know, it's like, what are we doing to ourselves? We're treating each other like
It's something that really, yeah, it comes natural because it's deep inside us. So yeah, I
yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you say, we're sort of biological beings. We are
Yeah.
nature. We're still the same. We're the same. It's not us and them. It's us.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of the workspaces I mean, are still horrendous, aren't they? Unless, you know, you're lucky enough to work with some really sort of forward-thinking clients. And I think there is a seismic shift. I think things are changing now. I think people are like trying to hit their
Yeah.
zero targets and all this kind of thing. So they're very conscious of it. And obviously the stuff that's happening in legislation as well. And there's obviously a lot of data and evidence to prove that biophilic design is really good for us in the workplace. I mean, what's your view on particularly biophilic design in the workplace and how it benefits?
Yes, so there has been many researches and there's a lot of data available out there.
Yeah.
For example, there's a Human Spaces report that shows that biophilic design can improve the productivity by 6% and creativity by 15%. This natural and vegetated space can improve individual self-esteem and mood. And the presence of water, for example, can have a relaxing and calming effect. So there's evidence out there that shows that these benefits can occur in as little as 5 to 20 minutes. So also a small exposure to nature is highly impactful and beneficial. There's an ecological balance theory that suggests that we prefer nature resembling colors, such as green and blue, for example. However, it's always important to note that not all the natural environments are green. So the design choices should also be tailored to what is the local ecosystem and the local sort of color palette of the place. In 2019, CBRE estimated that tenants in New York were paying 14% premium for floors with terraces. And recently, the University of Oxford in 2022 was calculating that in London, an office with outdoor space commanded 5 to 10% rent premium. So those data are always suggesting that yes, nature is necessary and it's good for you, it's good for us. By 2050, 70% of the population is expected to live in cities. And that's really important to keep in mind because within this shift, the need for the design to reconnect people and nature is becoming even more important.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, more and more of us moving to cities and like that stat that the fact in 2050
Yeah.
we're going to all be in the cities.
Yeah.
You know, 70% of us all crammed in. It's like it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Be like sardines, you know. So I mean, we're sardines wrapped in like sort of like hermetically sealed boxes with no natural to no natural air. I mean, how horrendous. Thank
Yes.
heavens there's designers like you know. Um, I mean, it took kind of like your design and stuff, and
Yes.
obviously, yeah, and I like the fact that you mentioned about it isn't always about green, you know, it isn't always about coloring something green. It's about using like the local environment as well, you know, the sort of even you
Yes.
know the
Yes.
yeah, so it's place based as well, which I
Mhm.
really like that. I mean, maybe
Yes.
could you give us an example of something either yourself or Gensler or have kind of worked on as kind of an example of how you've created or improved a space using biophilic design?
Yes, yes, and prior to that is also important from our side to mention a workplace survey that we've done with our Gensler Research Institute. It came out sort of the end of last year, 2023, and it's a survey that we do and gives us insights and you know is a mirror of the new variety of work activities in the post-pandemic world. And obviously, it was even there underlined and mentioned the importance of outdoor spaces, access to fitness, meditation, well-being, and all those related amenities. Then if we relate this to project, I'm now working on with a group of engineers which is called Hilson Moran. It's quite well established in the UK and globally. We're working on the new London office. The London headquarters is close to Hayes Galleria, actually, is within that complex. We're using quite an extensive number of sustainable materials there, and we are exploring different reuse strategies. And we're designing, for example, a bespoke desk with planters integrated in the front.
Oh, nice.
So they can also, yes. So it's just tailored for them and their vision, where sustainability and nature was always something in their manifesto, and some of the aspects that they really want to explore. We have a room, for example, that is called the Oasis Room. So it's really full of nature and biophilia. We have a special ceiling that will reflect the nuance and shades of the nature below. And we really taken all the opportunity to integrate nature in the workplace, like from we have this big canteen space that is looking the Thames directly. You can see Tower Bridge from there. And every opportunity in that space as well, like with the banquet booth, etc., is meant to integrate nature within the environment. There's some other projects that we used biophilia as well. One of them is the McCann World Group in London. Biophilia that was used to connect people, yes, through basically bringing them together in moments of wonder, to soften the boundaries between the spaces and to create this sort of sense of permeable neighborhoods. Another project is the Pladis Global Project in London. We've also inserted these micro-restorative experiences, these pockets of nature that are readily implementable, and often they are actually more accessible than the large interventions. And we really learned that frequent exposure to those small interventions may contribute to a compounded restoration response. So when a long duration of exposure is not possible or desired, or it cannot be achieved in that scale of project, positioning the biophilic design interventions along paths that channel high levels of traffic is always a good solution. And that's the case also of what we did at the Arc in Hammersmith here in London, where we located biophilia along some of the main circulation routes. So there's a lot of ways of integrating biophilia design into a space, and sometimes it can be as simple as choosing a natural material, or shaping some of the architecture and the shape within the space is in an organic way to sort of stimulate our response and our benefit within the built environment.
Yeah, I like the fact that you've implemented, because you mentioned about those little micro moments of, obviously, we call it sort of tension restoration theory. These little micro moments of, throughout the day where you can interact and feel nature and experience it. It doesn't always have to be like this full blown, plants everywhere around your desk. It's actually having it in spaces that make sense, that encourage you down pathways, that you have these little space all the time. It's having a joined up kind of approach to it, really.
And some question that I usually have around it is, everything comes as a cost, and obviously nature in the space is also a cost for our clients. But yes, using every opportunity we have to sort of emphasize this aspect of the design and the project is always a good opportunity. Yes.
Yeah, really. I like that. And I also, you liked the word you used was permeable. And I like the sort of almost like outside in, and it kind of feels like there's no, that's seamless. That's a great word. That's a really good word. I like that. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. You touched on lots of facts and figures and stuff at the beginning there, which is fantastic. It's all the data that's really, really useful.
It's nice for us as well. Yes, to use the research to sort of play back what we do in our design and why we make certain choices. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say that the survey that you've done, is that publicly accessible? Can I share that?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Lovely, great. So listeners, I'll put a link on the blurb that goes with the podcast, so you can click through and look at the Gensler research there. obviously there's all these accreditations like BREEAM and WELL and all these different standards which are amazing and fantastic. And sometimes it's really hard for companies to navigate what they should be doing. I mean, for me, I think biophilic design ticks all those boxes, and I think we should be sticking it everywhere. I really do. Um, but from a professional point of view, Marco, maybe you could explain, please,
Yes.
well, how you feel biophilic design fits into the into that whole sort of BREEAM and well building
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
story.
So there are two different certifications I'm working on actually in the moment. One is BREEAM and one is WELL. So BREEAM is a widely used environmental assessment method, and a certification is it's basically a scheme for the buildings. So it really evaluates and certifies the sustainability performance of the building, and it's basically it's based upon various criteria. Those criteria are energy efficiency, for example, water usage, material selection, and the ecological impact. So it's a comprehensive framework for assessing and certifying this environmental sustainability of new and existing buildings. So biophilic design here comes into the game because it can really help in a positive way to the BREEAM assessment, especially when there are categories around indoor environmental quality, the health and well-being, and the ecology. So the integration of all these natural elements in the design can enhance, for example, the energy efficiency, the comfort of the occupants, the overall sustainability, and therefore aligns with the BREEAM's goal. Another certification is WELL, and is a performance-based system for certifying the features in the built environment that again impact the human health and the well-being. So it covers various aspects of building design, constructions, operation, focusing on the factors like the air, the water, the nourishment, light, fitness, and comfort. It's something that really has to be thought through from the beginning of the project if it's desired to achieve this certification. Sometimes the process is a bit tricky in a way, but it's something that is definitely new, innovative, and it's achievable. So the synergy between the biophilic design and WELL certification also can be particularly strong. Again, biophilic elements like incorporating the natural light, providing the access to the outdoor views, for example, incorporating the green spaces can then contribute to meet several of the requirements for the WELL certification, especially in areas like regarding the light, the comfort, and the mind as well. So it's two different systems, but they can be helped by the introduction of biophilic design into the built environment for sure.
Yeah, fantastic. I think they're both great standards. I really do. And I think the more we can sort of like link up biophilic design as a practice in interior design with the being able to help support companies or designers or whoever it is to help them understand how it can help them tick more of those BREEAM and well building standard boxes, I think would be great because it's an easy thing for them to grasp, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The sort of biophilia and
Yes,
biophilic
yes,
design is like it's not just, oh well,
yes.
we need so many qubit, this, that, and the other, and we need four of those over there. It's more like actually if we bring this in, it's much better, you know. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Lovely. With obviously with all that in mind, then, obviously you're speaking at the Workspace Design Show, and I'm really looking forward to coming
Oh,
to your
yes,
talk.
which
And
is
I promise I won't
very
hassle.
exciting.
Yeah. Uh, you're going to be speaking on the 28th of February
Yes,
in this beautiful
yes,
Talks Lounge that you've designed. Can you tell us what you're
yes.
speaking about, please?
Yeah, so the title of this speaking engagement is Bringing Energy Back to the Workplace as We Return to Work, Nurturing Social Capital and Increasing Happiness and Productivity in the Workplace. It will focus around the strategy to revitalize the workplace and boost the energy and the productivity levels of the workplace. So I'm very much looking forward to it. It's a wide topic of conversation. It will involve various speakers with different areas of expertise, and we're all gonna bring our different point of view and our insights on workplace design. So surely will be very interesting, and I'll be happy for everyone that comes and join us. Yeah.
Lovely, great. So everybody listening, make sure you go down on the 28th. It's free to get in as well, which is amazing. So designers,
Yeah. Yes.
get your butts down there and join
Yes.
the conversation. Um, Obviously, can we just talk a little bit about the booth? I'm going to put a picture on
Yes.
the By Philippe Design website on the
Perfect.
podcast
Yes.
page
Yes.
against the podcast.
Yes.
But the theme is Bloom and exploring the
Yes.
thriving ecosystem of work life.
Yes. That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So it's this actually Bloom Experience Driving Ecosystem of Work Life is actually a concept that we created for the entire show. And then we are designing the stage where basically the talks lounge, where all these speaking appointments will take place. So the theme itself looks at the future of workplace design with positivity and optimism. And it's a reflection on the new opportunities that we can create even during those challenging times for the world. So it's a very nice team, and we look forward to see it explored in many different ways with all the companies and suppliers and partners that are invited to the show. And then particularly for the stage, we looked at the theme and we interpreted it referencing nature and especially looking at sustainability. So we really created an immersive experience through a journey that is inspired by forest and woodlands. And the ultimate goal for this is really to raise the awareness on and highlight basically the critical importance of sustainability and biophilic design in shaping also the future of workplaces. So we partnered up with various trusted brands, and that's a good chance for me to thank them all because it's been an amazing collaboration and very like a lot of fun as
Yeah.
well. So we really applied these developed sustainable products and strategies, and we're really making sure that everything will be repurposed, reused, or recycled after the show. So we practice our mission as well. So it's very, very important. It's a great space to see these products and to see our design as well. And, also the opportunity to be surrounded by nature.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks really beautiful. It looks immersive. It looks kind of like there's this sort of beautiful backdrop that's very sort of
Yeah,
ethereal,
yeah,
boreal, kind of
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Really, really
We
nice.
designed it with, we designed it with a lot of partners and with Asia and Charlie as well from the workplace design show side. And yeah, it's been a nice and fun project. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see it realized as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's going to be a real highlight of the show, I think. So thank you for doing that. Um,
Hopefully, yes. Thank you.
yeah, I'm sure. Um, I was going to say, obviously, for me, I think biophilic design is really sort of, you know, coming of age, if you want, in terms of people understanding it and knowing it. And I mean, there's still a whole bunch of people that don't, maybe in construction, and maybe some of that's culture change and all this kind of thing. But I think amongst like design community and amongst, many, many buildings, I think businesses, there's biophilic design seems to be like understood. Do you feel that? I mean, the fact that you've created this bloom concept there is
Mhm.
a real kind of celebration of the fact that that's that nature and the blooming inside yourself as well, isn't it? And that sort of all of
Yes.
those good things. I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel like it's getting more widely known and more widely accepted?
Yes. So that's an interesting question. And yes, I think the adoption of biophilic design principle within the corporate and the design industry is something that has been steadily increasing over time. So many companies and many design professionals, they already started embracing this approach, and they recognize the importance and the key of creating these spaces that connect people with nature. So there is this growing awareness, and I think awareness is a key word here because it's growing in environmental and understanding both the environmental and the psychological benefits of the biophilic design. So designers are often more and more often incorporating these elements, not into the office spaces, but also in various other settings, like the residential buildings, the healthcare facilities, and the educational institutions, for example. There's been a lot of studies also around hospitals and the recovery time patients that had a room with a window accessing nature in their views has also been dramatically impacted and found out to be highly beneficial as well. So biophilia is one piece of the puzzle and is a key component also for sustainability and sustainable design, as I said. It's actually a science. It's really rapidly evolving, and it also partners with neuroscience to help redefine the best design strategies also for the future and the impacts to our industry.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. Thanks for putting it so succinctly. Exactly. It bridges the gap. Again, it is a science. It's lovely to hear,
Yeah,
actually. So
yeah,
yeah, really, really good.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Um,
I think
before
I think we can go on and talk for days around these benefits and the different ways of integrating nature and in the built environment. So as more as we spread the word around this awareness, I think the better for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're gonna be launching a bit later on this year a Biophilic Design Awareness Day. So but I'm just it's like a real fun thing for us all to get involved in. I think we're just gonna have a lot of fun. So yeah.
Yeah, let's make it a national holiday as well.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Actually, King Charles might go for it because I think he's supposed to be a Greek king. Not as in the pub brand, but the
Oh,
Greek
that would be
king.
nice. We all go to the park.
Before I ask you the final question,
Yes.
is there anything else that you would like to add?
Oh, yes. So I was thinking of that was worth mentioning the 14 patterns of biophilic design from Terrapin Bright Green, which is actually a very nice resource that we use as designers as well to sort of implement biophilic design within the space. So it organizes biophilic design into three different categories: nature in the space, nature analogs, and nature of the space. And then it provides really a framework of understanding and incorporating these thoughtful experiences that has the ability to mirror the diversity of nature. And as an outcome, there are 14 biophilic patterns that includes like visual connection to nature, for example, the presence of water, the material connection with nature, and it can also, help implementing the strategy and as I said, how to design the correct space with biophilia. So that's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And I
Yeah.
I love Terrapin Bright Green. I think and also their website, all their resources are free so that you can download those free booklets.
Yeah.
They've also got the economics of biophilic design on there as well, which has got like
Yeah.
amazing research. And they've just done the second
I think
edition.
it's a very useful tool. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, amazing. So the great, thanks for that. So the final question, Marco, although
Yes.
I don't want you to go. I want to sort of keep talking about biophilia and design and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, yeah, sure.
If you could paint the world with a magic brush of biophilia, what would it look like for you?
Yeah, so the first thing I thought when I was thinking about this question is a temple that I visited by myself many years ago is Angkor Wat in Cambodia.
Oh,
And
amazing.
that's really the first thing that came to my mind. It's also in the Jungle Book, by the way. So as kids, I think we've always watched it in a way. Um, so it has really been a special place for me to see where nature sort of took over and the integration with built environment and natural environment really served for me as a reminder of the connection between the human culture and the ecosystem that surround us. So if I had to imagine, if I could paint the world with the magic brush of biophilia, it would look like a canvas where really the natural world and the human-made environments can blend in an harmonious way, and to create this sort of sustainable and immersive experience for all of us. So like cities adorned with greenery, having this sort of urban landscape. Every building can be treated as a living organism with rooftop gardens, with waterfalls, and integrated pockets of nature. So yeah, that would be really interesting to see if the future develops that way, hopefully.
Thank you for listening to the Journal of Biophilic Design podcast.